Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there, having a fantastic start to your day, a great ending to your week, beginning to your weekend, whatever it may be out there for you folks. Happy December. It is December the 1st, one of my favorite months of the year, and really for two reasons, just because it's the holidays. And then the other reason would be just that I always cling to that long childhood dream that it'll snow around the holidays here in South Carolina. And I think that I'll always cling to that hope and a dream, I guess you would say, that it'll happen. I've always thought it would be really neat to get a snowstorm. It don't have to happen right on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but just around, the Christmas time, sometime leading up to Christmas or around Christmas time. And I think deep down, I always will kind of cling to that hope that it could happen every single year, even though there's a very low chance that it will. It always is exciting entering this time of the year knowing that, hey, here's another opportunity, another year where it has a chance to happen. But anyways, enough of that. I'm good for a few side stories of video, but here to talk about the weather, what's going to happen for today. There's a large system, as you can tell on your screen, crossing across eastern areas of the country. We have a system that's entering the Pacific Northwest and dumping a ton of precipitation into the Pacific Northwest. We'll break down both systems and stay tuned for the end of the video. We'll give you some information, very brief information, about a lot of energy that's going to be flying around throughout this weekend into next week. And there's a lot of chatter about late December being an active period for winter weather fans. So we're not going to talk about that in this video. I don't want to talk too much on things that, just really isn't really close enough, right? Don't want to speak too much on it. Because I think we do have some storm systems right ahead of us that we need to break down first. But I am excited about a time frame for the later parts of December, even early January. So we'll break that down as it gets closer to us. If you hear me struggling in this video, it probably is because I'm struggling. I'm still trying to get over this sickness. I'm pretty much over it. My voice is just still suffering from it. You can probably already hear a difference. But just bear with me. I'll get back to 100% hopefully by the end of the weekend. And so if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do so too. So we'll start off by just looking at the radar. A large system crossing the Midwest, the eastern U.S., and starting to move into the Appalachian Mountains. We got some very heavy rain down here along the Gulf coastline. Nothing severe warned. Thankfully, the severe weather threat actually decreased yesterday, and then it just flat out didn't end up materializing. In fact, I don't even remember seeing a severe thunderstorm warning yesterday. Maybe it did happen. I mean, I was at work and I wasn't able to watch the severe weather potential unfold, every waking minute. But man, I definitely don't think there was really any big time severe warnings out there. If there wasn't a whole lot. So we're thankful that that did not materialize into a higher end event, but we are dealing with a remaining severe weather threat across the deep south, and really it's just along the Gulf Coast. So we'll continue to watch this morning, into this afternoon, into this evening. There is a severe weather threat today. It's just very low, and just good old rain across the Ohio River Valley areas of the Midwest. And moving across Tennessee and Kentucky this morning. And we have a little bit of winter weather falling across Iowa and maybe even some falling across northeast Kansas. You guys will have to let me know what you're actually seeing out there. Scattered snows across the Rockies, and then just a more consolidated area of heavy precipitation that is moving into Washington and areas of Oregon. And it is, I'm going to always use some weird terms when it comes to snow, but this is one of the weird ones I use. But it is puking snow in areas of the higher elevations of like the Olympic Mountains and the Cascades. And this is just going to continue to be the common theme throughout this weekend for sure. So that's what's going on out there right now. Let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. Like I said, there is that marginal risk, which I would say that this is going to get chopped off here in the coming hours. The severe weather threat will basically drop to zero for these areas of Louisiana, but this will continue throughout the morning hours for New Orleans, over to Mobile, Gulfport, all the way almost to Tallahassee. We do have a marginal risk of severe storms, which means there's a level 1 out of 5 And there is a 2% risk of a tornado within 25 miles in a given location. So very small, but there tornado risk. So we need to be aware of this today. So definitely be weather aware, heed the warnings, those things like that. The wind threat, there is a 5% chance of wind damage occurring in this area, but it's pretty low, guys. So today won't be a big severe weather day. So, but we will keep an eye on it for sure. Excessive rainfall outlook, there's a marginal risk, which means there's at least a 5% risk of flash flood guidance being met in this green area down here. Watches and warnings, there is a lot going on out here, and a lot in the way of winter weather alerts. So you have ongoing winter storm warning, winter weather advisories in New Mexico, even winter weather advisories in Arizona. Almost in every state out west has some kind of winter weather alert except California. And you guys might even have some, but it might not be showing up on this map. But winter storm warnings are spanning across the Cascades. Just winter weather advisories in the Olympic Mountains there in northwest Washington. But winter storm watches up, winter weather advisories up, winter storm warnings up for Idaho. Yeah, a lot going on. A lot of winds, too. You got high wind watches, high wind warnings, wind advisories. And then you still have the ongoing winter weather advisories for what is falling right now across Iowa. A lot of fog down here in Texas. Even a flash flood warning ongoing. So watch out for the flooding risk down here in Louisiana and the deep south states this morning. But we will talk a lot on this in this video and try to get you guys some details about what's to come over the weekend. But deep breath here. But the southeast here, we'll take a broad look at what happens today. This rain will continue, much needed rain. It's not going to be, I don't think, a soaking of rain across the southern Alps, but much needed rain showers will fall across the southern Appalachian Mountains, eastern Tennessee, even northern Georgia, the upstate of South Carolina, the western Carolinas in general, all the way up into West Virginia, into Virginia. And there might be a little break later today. And then some more showers will try to develop across throughout central areas of the Carolinas into Virginia. More showers will develop throughout Georgia. Maybe some downpours later tonight south of Atlanta. Kind of be scattered and smothered about. Little Waffle House reference right there. All the way into the upstate of South Carolina. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning with maybe some widespread thunderstorms in Alabama and Mississippi, all the way down to the panhandle of Texas as another system pops off the southern stream and gets going. I'm telling you guys, we're going to knock dent after dent into this drought. Okay, we are going to begin to it's just going to be a slow but steady knockout of this drought throughout the next few months. I'm telling you guys. We're going to see less and less comments about, Mitch, why does it never rain here? We need to get some rain for our folks down here in Florida, though. These systems just seem to be missing Florida. But let's talk about the severe weather threat for today. And the HRRR model is doing a pretty decent job of showing where these severe thunderstorms are. Well, they're not really severe right now, just the thunderstorms in general, but the risk of severe thunderstorms will be throughout the morning and afternoon hours, and we keep this going. They're going to be kind of slow moving, so that's why they could produce a lot of heavy rain today. But we get to about midday, 11 a.m., 12 p.m., storms showing up. There's still a storm risk in New Orleans. There's even still a storm risk all the way south to like Lake Charles. There's a storm risk in Gulfport, Mobile, and these will eventually pose a risk of strong to severe storms all the way down into the western sections of the panhandle of Florida. Could get some more thunderstorm development later this evening as this other system moves in. Okay, so there, I mentioned back here that they might chop off this marginal risk, but they actually, I might have to back up my wording there. They're probably going to maintain it for what rides in later this evening into tonight. So my apologies there. That's probably why it's extended all the way back here for what comes in later tonight. And here it is, more rain bubbling up, starting to affect the Alexandria region. You got some storms, around 8, 9, 10 p.m. tonight, Lake Charles region, and then storms blast all the way up into Jackson. Some storms making their way all the way into central Mississippi, into Baton Rouge. tonight after midnight. And then by the time you're getting into about 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, widespread heavy rain over Alabama, southern Mississippi, the panhandle of Florida. And then we're going to have probably a chance of some strong to severe storms, even waking up tomorrow morning again down here. And this is just another system, not part of the same system that's overhead right now. So definitely a stormy night. I wouldn't worry or stress out about this being a big time severe weather threat. I don't think it is, but there will be a risk of some strong storms out here. The updraft Felicity swath does indicate some rotating storms out there. This down here, this kind of area right in here, this is from what's going on right now. Okay, and note, as of right now, 6:42 a.m. Eastern time, there is no tornado warnings that I know of. But this kind of northern area of spin that's showing up on the updraft Felicity swath, this is for what moves in tonight. So it does indicate, hey, there is a risk, very small risk of tornadoes overnight tonight into southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi. So we'll watch out for that. Rain, there'll be a good bit of it between now and we just go on and take it all the way out to Saturday evening. You're going for 3 to 4 inches of rain here in the Bayou of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, 2 to 3. Same thing for southern Alabama, panhandle of Florida, really just the western panhandle of Florida. But I mean, even getting a little bit further north up into Mississippi, Alabama, 1 to 2 inches of rain, beneficial rains all the way into North Georgia, 1 to 2, maybe as much as 3 inches of rain could fall. So much needed rains for sure. And I mean, we even look at the Carolinas over here, and just as rainfall between now, let's go on and take it a little bit further. This is rainfall between now and Sunday evening, and beneficial rains coming for the upstate of South Carolina, which is under a pretty substantial drought. So we're going to put a dent into it with this rainfall that's moving in overnight tonight and just throughout the entire weekend. But as we move into the Northeast, you're waking up to pretty quiet conditions this morning. There isn't a whole lot going on, but as you can tell, you look off to your west, southwest, rain begins to overspread pretty much all of Ohio. Rain begins to overspread West Virginia, move into western areas of PA, moves into the western sections of New York State as we are getting into the morning hours. I mean, by the time it's around lunchtime, this is already making it into central sections of New York State. A little bit of rain could fall as far south as New York City, but this first wave kind of misses. Then the second wave comes in this afternoon, and then it starts to rain in New York City and along the I-95 corridor and all the big cities along it, from Washington, D.C. to New York City. Stripe of rain moves in this afternoon in Boston. And this is just a warmer system. I mean, you got to get probably pretty high up in elevation to mix with some wet snow. But, there is some cold air hanging around up in northern areas of Maine. And this will fall in the form of snow up here. A few inches of snow could fall later tonight into tomorrow. But definitely just a warmer system. And then as we're getting into tomorrow morning, you still got a lot of shower activity in the southern tier of New York, pretty much all of New York. You got moisture moving out of Ontario. It's snowing up here in northern Maine, but I think you'll wake up tomorrow morning along the I-95 corridor, the higher populated regions, to dry conditions, but you're still going to be damp from just the previous rain overnight into the previous day. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a wetter, more wet Friday compared to one of your drier days this week, but I don't think you're going to have any high impact weather today by any means compared to kind of what you saw earlier this week for the lake effect snow regions. So, but rainfall just between now and tomorrow evening, I mean, not a whole lot, 1/10 of an inch to a 1/2 inch at most of precipitation from this. So not a ton of rain from this, but this will just be kind of a pesky, light to at times moderate rain for the most part over the next 36 hours. But, you go up here into northern Maine and even some of the higher peaks of just the northern Appalachian Mountains, a few inches of snow could fall up here in northern Maine. So it's just the time of the year that even when you're well above average temperature-wise, it's cold enough for snow up here in northern Maine. So Definitely a wintry weekend up here. Not a blockbuster storm, but we are watching these areas as we are getting into Monday into Tuesday. There could be a bigger winter storm for interior areas of the Northeast. So we will break that down this weekend for sure for great detail. I won't be able to get a video for you folks tonight, but we will have plenty of evening videos in the coming days, that's for sure. The South Central U.S., most of the day is quiet. Some lingering showers will hug the shorelines of Texas. And then as that developing low pressure gets going down here in the Gulf of Mexico, a round of heavy rain, showers and storms even possible in southeast areas of Texas will get going north and northeast of Houston. These will make their way into Louisiana. We've kind of already talked about this. These could be strong, maybe severe. As we are getting into Friday evening into this region, we will watch for these. And this is getting into the overnight hours. We've already kind of talked about these. This is round 2 that'll move in later tonight. One thing I want to mention too is some energy that could get going around the Kansas City area later this afternoon. A little bit of snow could fall. Some flakes around the Kansas City area points north. And a little round of just some light snow, maybe at times moderate, could swing through, last an hour or so at most, then swing into northern Missouri and then head on out. So don't be surprised if later this afternoon you get some snow flying around the Kansas City area points north. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But we'll back it up here. I do apologize. I'm really over struggling through these videos. It's been a real big struggle this week. Just ready to get back to normal, that's for sure. So I know people say, Mitch, don't apologize, but, I take this serious. You guys view it, and it's just not very professional of me. And I know I can't help that I'm sick. It just irritates me that it's lingering so long. And I feel fine. It's just my voice isn't liking me talking this much, I tell you that. But anyways, enough of all that. Snow showers, and even just some heavy kind of snow showers will drift into the higher elevations of Colorado and New Mexico. The snow will add up in the higher elevations of this region as the system moves in. So snow will add up in these regions. New Mexico, between now and the next 24 hours, additional snowfall accumulations expected in these higher peaks. You go up to Colorado and the Rockies, the ski country up here will begin to add up. Maybe a little bit of snow for Denver, but I don't expect any accumulations, but some snow could make it all the way to the metro area. But this is mainly going to be for the Rockies of Colorado. Higher elevation snow will add up anywhere from a few inches to as much as a foot, depending on where you are. But more snow will add up even after this time frame. So the north central range, rain will continue to fall, and Illinois, Indiana, southern Michigan. One thing I do want to watch for, though, is a little bit of cold air mixing in enough to it could switch this to a period of wet snow in central Michigan a little bit later today. This really isn't enough to warrant any kind of winter weather advisory as of right now for central Michigan. But I wouldn't be surprised if northern Illinois to central Michigan sees a period of accumulating snow sometime later this afternoon. And then you might get another period as more precipitation kind of moves in later this evening. Just some festive flakes flying around. It's possible. Even in the Janesville area, maybe Milwaukee into central Michigan. And, this continues. And it might add up enough to maybe dump an inch of snow here in southern areas of Wisconsin. A couple inches of snow in central Michigan. But I don't think a whole lot's going to fall from this. Grand Rapids might get an inch or so of snow. But we'll see what happens from this for sure. The western U.S. by far will be our most active area today. A lot of moisture surging into Oregon and Washington. And, you already got a lot of energy still left over from the first system that's still flying through all the other states out west. But, guys, this will continue. And, we're getting all the way to about midday. Heavy snow, making its way across the states, basically the Pacific Northwest. And then another round moves into Idaho. Okay, this is around 2-3 o'clock this afternoon. Heavy snow begins to fall in Idaho. And yeah, this is just good old rain for the lower elevations. Certainly not a cold enough snow for you folks, a cold enough system for you folks in the Pacific Northwest, for lower elevations like Seattle, down the Eugene, Medford, all those places to see any winter weather from this. But you go a few thousand feet up and it is just unloading snow in these regions. And you see snow all the way back here in Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, northern Nevada. And I think, Idaho is going to get a lot from this. And I mean, you keep this going, guys. Another system moves in overnight and just dumps a ton more snow. This will be a little bit warmer, but man, just a ton of snow. I mean, and you keep on going. Another system moves in. Like 3 or 4 systems, rounds of precipitation moves in throughout the weekend. I mean, we're talking snow, guys. I mean, feet of snow between now and Sunday evening. It's still snowing after this. This is a ton of snow, guys. Okay, you go all the way over to Idaho. Man, look at this. One thing that I wish I had is on these maps that show towns and cities. But yeah, I hope that you kind of know in your general area where you are on this map. But I mean, even a little bit of snow in the valleys, in the lower elevations of Idaho. So, man, this is going to unload snow for the Rockies, that's for sure. And just precipitation in general, guys. I mean, you're going to get upwards to 3 to as much as 10 inches of just precipitation in general from this. It's always wild seeing the valleys on the east side of the Cascades, how they have the rain shadow and just don't get near as much rain. So, but I do have a couple National Weather Service graphics pulled up. This is the one out of Seattle. And for you folks that do tune in from this region, I mean, here's a great map. It shows some areas. As you can tell, Seattle, nothing from this. But you get on up there, and that's a ton of snow just between now and Saturday night. Okay, the one out of Portland, a little bit further south, and there's a map out of this region. This is between now and 4 p.m. tomorrow. So, and then we look at Spokane, Washington. I mean, yeah, it's a great graphic. Expect at least this much. Could see as much as this. So it's a great graphic that shows the possibilities in this region for sure. Winds will be howling. Lower elevations will even be gusty. But if you're just a couple thousand feet up, winds will pick up anywhere from 30 to 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts are possible throughout the next 24 hours. And, temperatures. It's a tough day to figure it out in the Carolinas. There'll be a wedge in place. Kind of one of those days where the low country of South Carolina's in the 70s, but Greenville, Spartanburg areas in the 40s. Just a little bit of cold air trapped east of the Appalachian Mountains. Cold, rain, just kind of a cold, dreary day across the Midwest and the upper Mississippi Valley. Warm day for the deep South, just rain. Chilly day for the Northeast, 40s and 30s. And then out west, my mouse is not wanting to work. Neither is my voice. But out west, it's going to be a cold day. Below average temperatures just in general out here. Higher elevation snow, lower elevation cold rain. So, but guys, there's going to be a lot of energy flying around over the next few days. There really is. A few days, the next several days. So, here comes our weekend storm right here. This moves in. And then this could potentially turn into a big-time winter storm for the interior Northeast areas as we get to the end of this weekend into Monday morning. And then we have a Clipper system right here that's not showing a lot of precipitation right here, not connecting with any other energy to the south. So there's not a big-time precipitation field with it, but we'll watch that one. Could bring some snow, northwest flow kind of event for the Appalachian Mountains. Excuse me. We get rid of that. Okay, and then we watch another system about a week from today. There it is. Okay, and then system after system bubbling up. Okay, now this is starting to get into a frame where we're getting into mid-December. We don't know what the heck's going to happen then. But you notice there's just a lot of energy flying around. I mean, same thing with the European. Here comes that system at the end of the weekend into early next week. Heavy interior northeast snow. Here comes that Clipper flying through. Could be interesting. We need to watch this. Another system flies through, and then could be a big system. All right, we need to watch this one about 8 to 10 days from now. That's all I got, guys. Y'all have a great Friday. I'll talk to you guys Saturday morning, and we'll keep you guys updated. God bless. Have a great day.